Hi, welcome to the Also Called podcast, where we're asking hard questions about our place in this hectic world.
Join us as we dig into the truth about who God is, possibly discovering that we are also called.
So, Miss Bonnie, will you tell us what you learned about God in her issue?
So it's kind of hard to isolate it with Mary because I've been on this journey learning about God and all the deeper walk training and reading and all of that. So I've been learning a lot about God. But as Mary, as I walk with her, she learned that, well, he's powerful. He came to save us and rescue us and heal us and walk with us. So there's just so much. He takes the initiative and he's kind of waiting for our response, I think. One of the big things about the takeaway is how will we respond? If we keep taking the next step with him like Mary did, it's going to turn out good. He has good plans. So I think from Mary's perspective, from all my training, it's been a continuous, larger and larger awareness of spirit, of the spirit world. Like in Marcus's book, he talks about the two levels and how of a house and how most of us just see the scientific, we see the concrete, we see the material world, and that's what comes at us all the time and demands our attention and we have to interact with. It's really easy not to see that there's something else going on behind all that. And so the more I study and the more I attune with the spirit, he is spirit, we must worship him in spirit and in truth. The more we attune spiritually and see that non-physical world, the more aware we come that there is more unseen than seen, and what is unseen is more real even than what we see and feel physically. So I've just learning how to submit my humanity, like my soul, all the things about who I am as a physical being, as a human being, to God who is spirit. It's a much larger worldview, let's just put it that way. And the further I go, the more nuanced I think it is that you perceive when you are being oppressed. When a thought, like you said in the beginning, Mia, that you're learning how to recognize which thought in your head is yours, which one is from the enemy, which one is of God. That's like a constant prayer of mine now is silence any thought not of God. I want to be in tune with God and his thoughts and live accordingly, because that's a good way to live.
Well, I love one of the things that you talk about in the chapter is like getting to know Jesus. And as we journey on this journey, we start to hear his voice and it's very distinct, even when most of the time it's kind. It's even when he's bringing correction to me, it's kind. It's I'm doing this for your good, or I'm telling you this for your good. And I love that you talk about in your chapter, can we be close to him? Can we know this person? Can you talk a little bit about getting to know Jesus?
Yeah, I remember, well, so God uses so many things, but I have a niece who went through theophostic prayer for her healing journey. And that was an eye opener to me to think that God could actually show up to you spiritually, not physically, hold you in his arms, speak to you. I mean, that's all kind of hard to discern in the natural realm, but that was an eye opener to me that he could do that for her. Oh, you can ask him to show up and show himself to you. Well, he wants to. This is what he wants to do. So then learning how to do that, I remember trying so hard. Well, you don't really have to try so hard because it's something he does, but we have to invite him and we have to make space for it and get quiet enough to actually perceive what he wants to say. So among all the distractions, it's really hard to take the time to be silent enough, because his voice often is still and small, and we won't hear it if we're not paying very close attention. So part of the training that I did take at Deeper Walk was in listening prayer, and it was practicing that. We practice it with each other and classmates, and listening with each other. And the manual journaling that we've done together, Mia, too, is practicing. And then the great thing about that is sharing with someone else what you heard him say, because there's power in that, because the other person can validate it, or maybe they heard the exact same thing, which is a very powerful experience. And something's going on. And all of that increases your confidence that you can hear him and know what it's like him to say to you.
So, as Mary grew in knowledge of Jesus, we already established she's a disciple. What does, through Mary's perspective or through Mary's story, what is discipleship to her?
So I think of the acronym FISH, also a Deeper Walk acronym, but F is for freedom. He freed her first. And that's what happens at salvation. He gives us a new identity. That's the I. And so we grow into that identity and learn to know who we are as his child, as his disciple. The S is for spirit and scripture. So as we read his word, as we listen to his voice, we can know him better. That all causes us to grow. And the H is for heart focused discipleship, which we've talked about. It's in connection with his other body members, and we don't do that alone. So that's the fish. And then they say fish to go fish, because then we take what we've been given as a disciple, and as we grow and mature, we take what we've been given and share it with others. Discipleship. It's being taught, and it's not just in your academic knowledge being taught, but experiencing walking with him.
And I love one of the things you said, discipleship is following someone means doing it their way, not ours.
Yes, it requires a lot of submission and dying to self and our own desires. I think I said submitting all my humanity to the one who leads me and wants to teach me.
I can probably speak for a few people, but that's probably the hard part. I know I want to do it my way. Like, I can take your general idea, but I want to do it like I want to do it.
Yeah.
So, Miss Bonnie, is there anything that you didn't get a chance to cover in your chapter that you would like to share with our listeners?
Well, that fish was one of the things. I wanted to be able to talk about that, because I really think that's what she walked out, and I think that's what we walk out also. That practical part about enlarging our worldview, gaining God's perspective. The big takeaway is really, how will we respond? How are we going to respond? And each of us has to make those decisions. And it's not one decision, it's one after the other. So we have to keep going. We have to keep going with him. Otherwise, we go the other way, and you have to do one or the other. And so those choices that we keep making are really important. That's about our response to him, because he wants us. He's done his part. I mean, he's doing his part always. And so how we respond to him is the big thing. I just want everyone to seek him. Here's another acronym I really love. So it's SLOW. So it's S is seek him. It's so easy not to. So take the time and seek him and listen. So that's the listening prayer part, where we're really attuning to him, obeying what we hear. That's the one. That's the hard one, right? And then watch. We get to watch what he's going to do when we do that. So we leave the outcomes to him, as we just do. Like, I'm here today, just being obedient, and now we're going to watch and see what he's going to do.
I love that one time the Lord dropped this in my spirit, standing in joyful anticipation. Like learning to just be joyful and not control or stress or worry or have anxiety about what the outcome is. I
Yeah.
know that He's good because of my journey with Him, and I
Right.
stand in joy waiting to see what He's going to do and being
Beautiful.
open to it might not be what I have in mind.
Ah. It often is not. But he has really great ideas, so let's go with that.
That's a very practical, the slow is a great takeaway of something practically that we can do as we go through this journey of discipleship.
Well, this is my quick summary. Okay, Mary was just a person like any one of us. She was human too. She was doing the best she could with what life gave her, but she was struggling and she was oppressed and she was not free. And so she met Jesus, and that was the beginnings. A crucial moment, and I think we're each offered a moment like that because Jesus wants all of us and he will reach out to us and seek us. That's a life-changing moment. And then what happens next? What happened next was really important. The continuing the journey and knowing him, just getting to know him better and better, and being the gratitude for what we see him do, what she saw him do, that kept her with him to the bitter end and to the joyful end, actually, and to the future of her ministry for him. So I think that's, in a nutshell, what happened in Mary's life, and we want for ours as well.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'd love to hear your thoughts about Mary of Magdala, so you can drop us a line in the comments. Be sure to like, follow, and share, but also follow us on social medias for a bigger conversation. Also, join us next time as we dive into other women disciples that we explore in our book. The next one up is Daughter, or the woman with the issue of blood. So remember, be curious
And keep seeking.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Also Called provides a space for honest conversations about the truth of who God is, who we are, and the relationships He wants us to have with Him, each other, the church, and ourselves. This episode was just the start of the conversation. Be sure to check the show notes for extra resources to go further. You can also find our social media sites to join the discussion. Don't miss our next chat by subscribing to our YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Also Called is part of Bible and Pop Culture, a crowd-funded nonprofit that allows us to provide our content to start great conversations for free. You can help us keep doing this by checking out BibleandPopCulture.com or AlsoCalled.org's Donate Subscribe buttons with a one-time gift, supporting us monthly, or sharing us with someone who might like the conversation. Thank you for being a part, and see you next conversation.